Learning how to be more feminine and use feminine communication and stay in your feminine energy is the magic secret to making your love life work. It is what allows you to inspire a man into taking care of you, into cherishing you, into protecting you, into treating you as the most special woman in the world. Because this is what the masculine instinct does. This is how the masculine instinct responds to a feminine woman. When a man is in his masculine energy, or when his masculine instinct is at least somewhat online, a woman who's in her feminine, who is using respectful feminine communication, who's being vulnerable, it activates that masculine instinct and puts a man, without her even trying, without the woman even trying, into that provider and protector mode, where a man wants to give her more, wants to protect her more, wants to be the absolute best man he can be, wants to be more in integrity to make sure that she feels safe, make sure that she feels happy and fulfilled. And the problem is, well, we'll call it a problem, it's not going to work with every man. It's not a magic bullet that heals really abusive, toxic men. And being more feminine with certain men is actually going to typically cause even more mistreatment. And if you don't know how to recognize what's happening and you're not willing to flow away, walk away, leave these men, then you're going to end up getting far more hurt. You may end up getting badly abused, taken advantage of, or worse. And so in this video, we're going to talk about the difference between how a masculine man responds to a woman in her feminine and what happens when you're communicating in this way to a narcissist, or at least a man with very strong narcissistic tendencies, not necessarily a diagnosed narcissist. Before we get into it, I am going to introduce myself. My name is Zach Rohde. I am here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire men into cherishing you. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below, hit the notification bell, and be sure to like this video because, of course, I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you today. So, a very quick background on masculine and feminine polarity before we really dive into this topic. So, for any healthy relationship or dating dynamic, the man is supposed to be leading. That is his role. He's the one that is planning the dates. He's the one that's making the decisions. He's the one that is initiating contact. He is a man with a plan, and he is leading, not because he's better or superior or anything like that, but he is doing it because he cares about the woman that he is with. He is trying to give the woman a fabulous experience so that she can just relax in her feminine energy and enjoy the man and everything that she is being given. The man feels great in this dynamic because if a man's masculine instinct is online, he enjoys leading, he enjoys taking care of somebody else, and the woman feels great in this dynamic because she gets to be taken care of. These are roles of caretaker, the man, and caretakee, the woman who's being taken care of. This is the way that it's supposed to be. Man is devotional and he's getting respect from the woman, and the woman is following the man and receiving his care. And what can happen when a woman learns about this dynamic and starts practicing feminine communication in the way that I teach is oftentimes they will come across a man who doesn't respond in the way that a man should be responding. Now, on the far end, like the best way that a man can respond is exactly what I teach, right? Like he just fully steps into his masculine, he's cherishing the woman, he's leading her to share all of her feelings. That's a man whose masculine instinct is fully tapped in. That's the kind of man that you want. If you're single or if you're in a relationship with a man, that's the kind of man that you want to inspire him to be. However, what many women will find, at least at times, is they attract a man who doesn't respond at all. It's not that they don't respond at all. They respond in the opposite kind of way, where you're being vulnerable. And let's just assume for a moment that you're being truly vulnerable. You're truly using feminine communication, because there is a lot of What women will often do is they think that they're being vulnerable. They think that they're using feminine communication. They think that they're being permissive, and they're not actually, because there's a lot of subtleties that women have blind spots with. But me as a man, I can easily pick up on it and tell a woman, hey, this isn't true vulnerability. This isn't true feminine communication. So anyway, those men, if you're communicating incorrectly, could be reactive in some kind of way. They could get defensive. They could be dismissive. What many women will do at this point is assume this is just a narcissist. This is a super unhealthy man. And he could be, absolutely. Or he could just be a man whose masculine instinct is relatively online, and he doesn't know how to lead a woman out of the unintentional and oftentimes very subtle disrespect. So he responds poorly. When in truth, he could have been a totally devotional man if a woman just knew how to communicate properly. But let's make the assumption that you, as a woman, now or in the future or in the past, you've used feminine communication, you've been truly vulnerable with a man, and he doesn't respond well, and you weren't actually doing anything wrong. Your communication was really clean. He still doesn't respond well. That can be because the man is actually a narcissist. And a narcissist is not going to respond the same way that a healthy man will. And that is because he is incapable. I'm gonna really simplify things. Okay, I'm not gonna go into all the specific details of narcissism. I'm just gonna make it as simple and black and white as possible. A narcissist is not going to be able to see himself. He's not going to be able to accept himself when it's pointed out, even using feminine communication, that he is wrong, bad, incompetent in some kind of way. Now, if you judge a man and say like, hey, you're not leading me well, just as an extreme example, no man's going to really respond well to that. The only kind of man who might seem to respond well to that is a people pleaser, and that's because he's trying to get your approval. The more that a man's masculine instinct is online, the less that he's a people pleaser, the less he's going to respond well to a judgment like that, or like anything. If you're ever judging his behavior in any kind of way, or if you're questioning his behavior in some kind of way, healthy men don't respond well to that. Now, really healthy men, they're going to lead a woman out of that and set boundaries around that, but no healthy man's going to respond like, oh, wow, thank you for judging me and telling me why I'm not doing my job properly. That's why you got to use feminine communication. That's why you got to be vulnerable, share your feelings, share like, oh, I'm feeling a lot of sadness. Asking permission for help with your feelings, first of all, may I please have some help? And then go into the reason for it, where you're focusing on the problem for you, like I'm really struggling to follow your lead, or I'm noticed that I'm closing down and I'm struggling to open up in some kind of way. I'm like walking on eggshells, I notice, and I really don't know how to let this go, right? You're focusing on the problem for you. When you do that, a healthy man is going to be inspired to want to solve your problem. This isn't, and by the way, for anyone new to my channel, this is not about tiptoeing around a man's sensitive ego. If you're doing that, you're not being feminine. That's not what feminine communication is about. Feminine communication is for you. You're doing it because you don't want to be judging a man. It doesn't feel good for you to be in your masculine energy. It doesn't feel good to be penetrating a man in any kind of way. It's 100% for you. The side effect of using feminine communication for you and being vulnerable for you is that a man's going to typically respond really well. Okay, that's the whole point. But a narcissist won't, because even if you're just sharing your feelings, even if you're being fully clean, you're focusing on being on your side of the street, a narcissist is going to respond poorly because you're giving him contradictory evidence to his belief system about however he's identified, as superior, as better, as helpful, as whatever. And he's not able to take in that information, see himself, and adjust. Instead, what he is going to do to be able to rationalize his beliefs about himself, to make sense of the world, to make sense of what you are telling him, is he has to make what you are saying wrong. He has to make what you are saying invalidated in some way, make you the bad person, you the one that's stupid, who doesn't get it, who's just ignorant in some way, who make you the narcissist, make you the one that's abusive, you the one that is incapable of being grateful. Right? There's so many possibilities, so many ways that a narcissist will rationalize that to himself and try to convince you of his false truth by judging you, by being dismissive, by blaming you, by abusing you, by making you feel bad, by guilting you, by manipulating you. Now, to be clear, and to be very fair, non-narcissistic men can do this as well. Absolutely. Very unlikely if a woman is being truly vulnerable and truly using feminine communication, but the less a woman is using feminine communication, the more that you're going to get that same kind of response. And I'm harping on this so that you understand, just because you're getting that response from a man does not mean he's a narcissist. Okay? Even if you are trying to be feminine, even if you're trying to apply some of the stuff that I'm teaching, it does not necessarily mean that he is a narcissist. Women are massively overdiagnosing narcissism in men today because they don't understand the differences between men and women, because they don't understand when they are being disrespectful unintentionally and triggering a man's masculine instinct to fight her, like emotionally, verbally, because she is energetically penetrating him. Okay? But I'm not really going to go into that too much more in this video. We're talking more about the flip side here, where what women, and this is so common with women who start learning my work, especially if you're not getting hands-on support in my academy program, because this is the one of the things that I really want women to avoid, right? Because this is a big safety issue. In my academy program with women, we really make this as clear as possible what feminine communication looks like, how to use it, how to look out for red flags, what to do in the case of red flags, so that you don't get stuck in a situation. One of the reasons we do this is so you don't get stuck in a situation with a man who actually is a narcissist or is abusive in some other kind of way where he's not going to be inspired to shift, and then you start thinking, well, it must be me. I'm just not being feminine enough. I'm just not being vulnerable enough. I'm just not being respectful or reverential enough. Yes, that can be the case, and usually that is the case. You're not. But sometimes the opposite is true, and that you are doing everything that you reasonably can, and the reason that you're getting bad reactions is because you are with a man who is unable to receive your emotional truth no matter what you do. And if you continue at that point to think that the issue is you, what you will tend to do is put yourself more and more into a box, walk more and more on eggshells, get more and more anxious, make yourself smaller, more presentable, put your feelings or whatever you're sharing on a silver platter in the most presentable possible way, like the opposite of messy, we'll call it. Trying to appease this man who is actually a narcissist, and it will never work. It will never work. You will never become feminine enough for him. You will never become respectful enough for him, because he's incapable of seeing you for who you really are, and he's incapable of seeing himself for who he really is. So what's going to happen in that dynamic, if you decide to make yourself smaller and smaller to try to appease him, typically unconsciously, what will happen is he'll never be satisfied, and he will, there can be differences because there's many different types of narcissists, but in general, he's going to try to take more and more control and power in the relationship and not use it to serve you, not use it to take care of you, not use it to cherish you. Instead, use it to take advantage of you, to hurt you, to validate his own ego in some kind of way, to create safety for his own ego and his beliefs more and more. And you're just going to get really badly hurt by this, really badly hurt. And so it becomes very important to be able to recognize the difference. Start recognizing some of these red flags, ideally really early on before you get into a relationship with a man. By the way, I will say, one of the reasons that you shouldn't jump into a relationship, and especially shouldn't jump into sleeping with a man before you've really got this figured out over a multiple months minimum of vetting him, if not more than a few months, and waiting until marriage, which would be my optimal advice for any woman. If you do that, if you jump into the bedroom too soon with a man, now you're going to be much more stuck. You're going to be much more emotionally attached. It's going to be much more difficult to see the situation clearly, and you're probably going to end up getting hurt. And the thing about narcissists too is, narcissists and a lot of abusers, even if a man isn't like a diagnosed narcissist, is that they can often be really good at wearing masks. They can be really good at pretending to be what you want them to be. So if you want a man to be a masculine man, guess what? He might do a really good job of acting that role for you. You think you're going to figure that out in a week or a few weeks? I mean, yes, if you're very perceptive, you can. If you have a lot of experience, if you're really in your feminine self-worth, if you're using feminine communication really well, then you probably will be able to spot that. If you're still much earlier in your journey, there's a good chance that you're not going to be able to spot that. And so are you going to take the risk of sleeping with a man or getting into a relationship with him too soon or moving in with him? And that just comes with so many risks, unnecessary risks that I do not want you to take. It's up to you, but I don't think it's a good idea. So this is where feminine communication can really come in handy. Many women can think, learning from my work, that feminine communication is just about inspiring a man to take care of her. And yeah, I mean, that's what I market. So okay, sure, it's understandable that a woman would think that. Yes, that is true with healthy men. But part of what feminine communication is all about is, we'll call it vetting. I don't like using the word vetting because it's a very masculine term, right? Like a man is vetting a woman. That would be very natural. You are not vetting a man, or shouldn't be vetting a man in a masculine way, by asking him a bunch of questions, by seeing if he meets your expectations, all of that. You're vetting him, you should be vetting him by getting really vulnerable, by using feminine communication to share your feelings, to share the problems that you're experiencing, and see how he responds. Now, if he's a really good actor early on, he might do an okay job of acting the part of the man who can hold space and all of that stuff. A lot of men, though, like a lot of narcissistic men, right away they're going to expose themselves. Because if you're sharing problems and negative feelings, a narcissistic man is typically not going to be able to handle that, and then he starts to show himself. And the more you do it, the more that he starts to show himself, even if you're being 100% clean. Some narcissistic men are going to be better at it than others, at hiding, but they're still going to start to show signs subtly in the responses to, and the energy of their responses to. Like, once you can truly feel the energetic signature of devotion of a man who is truly caring for you just because he cares, then it becomes much more difficult to fool you. If you're not aware of what this feels like, probably because you had a narcissistic parent or abusive parent or a neglectful parent in some kind of way, you're anxiously attached, can be a really big part of this too. The more that you have those kind of problems, the more that you're going to not be able to see and feel this energetic difference, and the more that you're going to let those red flags go, rationalize them to yourself. Is the big issue that women have, is you will just rationalize away these red flags and keep giving a man chances. Now, it's great to be able to give a man chances, right? In the sense that you're forgiving. But you can go way overboard with this. Way overboard, where you're giving him way too many chances at your own expense. You're hurting yourself, and it gets taken advantage of. Yes, give a man chances, because no man's going to be perfect. Okay, if you expect a man to show up perfectly for you, you're going to be alone forever with cats. That's just the way it is. Nothing wrong with cats, but you probably want a healthy man with those cats. So yeah, you need to give a man chances. You need to show a man grace. You need to communicate when things go wrong, but you also at the same time need to be paying attention to red flags, be aware of what they could mean, continue to observe his behavior, And a man will eventually expose himself. One of the reasons, other than just continuing to write off a man's red flags as something else and rationalize it to yourself and assume that it must be you, that's one thing that can go wrong for a woman, where she ends up with these kind of men. But another reason for it, a big, like massive reason that you end up with these kind of men, is because you're not sharing what's coming up for you. You're just holding it all in and hiding it because of your own wounds of not wanting to rock the boat, not wanting to be rejected, not wanting to be too much, not wanting to be disrespectful, wanting his approval in some kind of way. That's how women typically end up with these narcissistic men. Because if you just shared every time your sadness or the shame that's coming up or the fear, whatever, whenever a man drops the ball, whenever he's late, whenever he says a kind of rude joke, it might have been well-intentioned, but it hurt you in some kind of way, whenever he's leading too fast with intimacy, whenever he is being wishy-washy and not being clear, whenever he's blaming you for something when it really didn't seem like it was your fault. I mean, a man should never be putting blame on a woman, but he's trying to lead you into being responsible when it's not really your responsibility. All of these kind of things, if you're not speaking up, you're not communicating what's going on for you, sharing your needs, your feelings, your problems, your desires, using feminine communication, then you're probably going to end up with this kind of man. The more that you use feminine communication, the more that you see what kind of man that you're dealing with. And then it's sort of, just this thought, just visual came into my head, so I'm going to use it. It's sort of like peeing on a pregnancy test, right? Like if it's well, let's just say that the pregnancy is good. You want to have a baby, so is going to come out with those lines, the blue lines or whatever they are. If a man responds well to your feminine communication, you're going to get those blue lines. But if you continue to get a negative response, or not the response that you want, over and over again, it's like you're peeing on all these sticks. And guess what? They're never turning blue. You're never getting the, or maybe it's like one of two lines. I can't remember how they work. If that's the response that you're getting, then you know, okay, something's wrong. Feminine communication is exposing it in the same way that urine is exposing whether you're pregnant or not. And isn't that fantastic? Because now you don't have to waste your time with a man who is going to absolutely waste yours and hurt you, and you'll never be able to inspire him. You will never be able to be truly feminine with him. If you're liking this video so far, if you're getting a lot out of it, if you're having any aha moments, make sure you give this video a like. That really helps me out. And then also be sure to subscribe to my channel if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, because I'm going to give you a lot more about these topics, a lot more about feminine communication, a lot more about how to show up as a woman, how to get ultimately what you need in your love life, which is a man who is stepping up, cherishing you, treating you as the special, amazing woman that you are, creating safety for you. That's of course what you need. And you've been lied to and misled, and the truth of how to do this has been so deeply hidden from women, behind bad advice from your peers, from other experts, from your parents, from everybody. And it doesn't need to be this way. It's so simple once you understand the dynamics of masculine and feminine polarity, when you understand what your natural role is, when you're tapped into your feminine instinct, when you know how to communicate from your feminine instinct. That's when everything starts to click and you start getting the devotion that you need from a man. You are supposed to be in a relationship where you get to just fully let go. You just feel ease in your body. You feel relaxation in your body. You don't have a fear that a man's going to leave you or, react badly if you make some kind of mistake. He's not people pleasing. You feel super attracted to him. You feel that really strong emotional charge, and you're able to be fully open with him, fully vulnerable with him, sharing all of your negative feelings and all your positive ones. Right? It's not just about the shame and the anxiety and the anger and the sadness. Yeah, you definitely need to be sharing that. But you know what else is really great to share? Your gratitude, your happiness, your horniness. And those are all beautiful feelings too. Neediness is another really big one. it's okay to share that you feel needy. It's actually a compliment to a man when you know how to share it in using feminine communication, when you're not putting it on a man energetically. And it's just so liberating. This is what I want for every woman, is this liberation where you're shifting into your feminine self-worth and you're communicating all of your needs fully, and you don't have to hold back anything from a man. Just literally visualize that for a moment, what that would mean, how powerful that would be, how transformational that would be for your love life, whether you're single or in a relationship with a man right now. If you never had to hide anything from him ever again, and he just fell more in love with you the more that you shared. This is only possible with feminine communication. This is only possible with vulnerability. Because you could be sharing a whole bunch of judgments. You could be sharing your truth, but in a more masculine way. And a masculine man's not going to respond well to that. Again, the only type of man that's going to respond well to that, maybe, is a people pleaser. A man who is deeply stuck in that approval-seeking mode, where he's trying to be the masculine man for you, but it's really a costume. That's not the kind of man you want. That's not going to feel good. You're not going to feel safe in that relationship, and you're going to start to lose attraction for that man really quickly. No, you need to feel that safety in a relationship with a man who's being fully real with you, and he's also emotionally centered. And you can feel his power, you can feel his strength, and you can feel the safety and devotion that he has in his heart for you, so that you can share everything that is in your heart and just be loved more for it. There is no feeling inside of you, there is no need inside of you, including any unmet need, that is ugly, that is yucky, that is unattractive. You might believe that they are because of a bad childhood, because of bad experiences. You may have pushed those parts away from your conscious, but all of those parts are beautiful. All those parts are wonderful. Masculine men will love to feel and see all of those parts. And this is what I help you do. This is what I help you attract and create for yourself. And I try to make it as easy as possible. I do that by giving you understanding on my videos. And I have a lot of free videos, so keep watching them. Keep putting together these pieces so that polarity makes as much sense as possible. But if you want to make it a lot easier for yourself, make these shifts as quickly as possible, then book a call with me. Go below this video, open up the description, click relationshipyourdreams.com, watch the 10-minute video that is on the website, and if it resonates with you, book that call. It's a free call, discovery call. We'll find out all about what's going on in your love life. We'll find out if it makes sense to help you, if we can get you the kind of results that we expect in our program, and if so, we can talk all about our academy and show you how to make these shifts, take you by the hand, spot out the narcissists, figure out together where your responsibility is, why you're still not getting the perfect reactions that you want, show you how to use feminine communication better, and keep making your love life as good as possible. So if that's you, fantastic. I will see you on that call, relationshipyourdreams.com. And if it's not you yet, that is also totally okay. Keep watching these videos. Keep making sense of this. Keep learning feminine communication. And you will make these shifts. As long as you don't give up on yourself. As long as you choose to have faith in yourself and have faith in men and have faith in this process. You are worthy. You are lovable. Just by being your most feminine, beautiful self without holding anything back. That's it for this one. Dodge those narcissists. You do not need them in your love life. I will see you for the next video.